Hey guys, it's time to figure out who really scored big in the WWE draft that took place last night on Raw. Pardon me, I have notes aplenty about all of this and everything that happened. The very first matchup that I saw for the first draft pick was Rey Mysterio from Raw taking on Evan Bourne. This was a match that was won by Rey Mysterio, and the draft pick that Raw got was the United States Champion MVP. Pretty big pick. I mean, this is pretty awesome right there. And but the thing is that you can kind of tell with this pick that Rey Mysterio Jr. was probably going to go to SmackDown, because having all of the belts on the major brand kind of really just would have left SmackDown really just out of people or out of relevance. There'd be no reason for there to be people on SmackDown. There'd be no reason to watch. The second matchup was Kane versus Brian Kendrick. This was a Raw versus SmackDown matchup. The winner was Kane, so Raw got another draft pick, and they got another big guy. They got the Big Show. And this makes perfect sense because of the whole Vicky Guerrero, Big Show, Edge connection. So I'm actually looking to see Edge lose to John Cena in the Last Man Standing match because of that, and have the Big Show go into cahoots with Vicky Guerrero, and that's going to be a kind of odd clash of the Titans, considering they would probably be going up against the McMahons to see who would have control over the show. Very, very neat. It's something that could definitely become interesting. Next was the Six Diva Tag match. It was Maurice, Michelle McCool, and Natalya taking on Kelly, Melina, and Mickie James, SmackDown versus Raw. The winner was the SmackDown Divas, and Melina from Raw was drafted over to SmackDown. So now you have the women's champion on SmackDown. You could probably tell that Maurice was going to be drafted over to Raw, which I'll get to later. Match number 4 was really big. It was John Cena from Raw taking on Jack Swagger of ECW. This was a champions versus champion match, and, well, John Cena was the victor, and Raw got Matt Hardy and Triple H. Now, Triple H has been on Raw now for the past month or so, I would say, just making appearances. So, really, he's been on Raw. That doesn't really shock me as that big of a pick. In fact, it seems kind of like a waste. But Matt Hardy is a kind of a really interesting pick. It makes me wonder what they're going to do with the whole Matt and Jeff angle. The next matchup was Santino Marella versus the Great Khali, a match that took all of 25 seconds. Great Khali won, just like he had done on SmackDown, and the SmackDown brand drafted CM Punk, the Money in the Bank winner. This makes me think, kind of against my theory, that maybe if Edge doesn't lose, if he wins, then CM Punk may be able to cash in the Money in the Bank on Edge again, and that would be kind of interesting. But it would also be interesting if, regardless who won the Last Man Standing match, that CM Punk would just cash in the Money in the Bank right after the match and basically feed off of the 45 minutes or so of pain that these two are going to probably put themselves through and get the quick championship victory. Just a couple ideas that I thought of. Match number 6 was interesting. It was The Miz from ECW taking on Kofi Kingston from Raw. This was a matchup that was won by Kofi Kingston because of John Morrison's interference, and because of that, the Raw draft pick actually was The Miz. And because of that, we saw the dissolution of Miz and Morrison, as Miz pretty viciously attacked Morrison, kind of showing that he is going to go solo from here on out. Match number 7 was a 15-man tri-band Battle Royal. There was 2 draft picks on the line. For Raw, you had the newest members of Raw, MVP and The Big Show, teaming up with Crime Time and Mike Knox. On SmackDown, you had the Colognes, R-Truth, Edge, and Chavo Guerrero. And on ECW, you had Finlay, Mark Henry, Alberto, Tyson Kidd, and Ricky Ortiz. The winner was the SmackDown brand, with Edge eliminating the Big Show. The Big Show charged at the ropes, and Edge just pulled the ropes, and, well, you can kind of see where it went from there. And the 2 draft picks for SmackDown were Kane and Chris Jericho. Huge. The 8th match was Christian taking on Shelton Benjamin. This is ECW versus SmackDown. The winner was Christian, so ECW got their very first pick of the night, and they got the Moscow Mauler, not Mauler, wow, that sounded terrible, Vladimir Kozlov. In match number 9, CM Punk, recently of Raw, now of SmackDown, took on Matt Hardy, recently of SmackDown, now on Raw. this was kind of strange because it almost proves the predetermination of the draft, but hey, who cares? Because Matt Hardy was the winner because Jeff Hardy attacked him, and it ended up being a fairly useless draft pick anyways. This is when Maurice came over from SmackDown to Raw, so now the Divas Champion's on Raw, and the Women's Championship is on SmackDown. In match number 10, it was Chris Jericho, now of SmackDown, taking on Tommy Dreamer of ECW. The winner of this match was Chris Jericho, and the SmackDown brand got Rey Mysterio, so now the cycle was complete. The Intercontinental Championship is now on SmackDown, and Raw now has the United States Championship. And that was it for the draft. And as you saw, you got 6 people that went for Raw. You saw 5 people go for SmackDown and only 1 for ECW. The supplemental draft is still to take place tomorrow, Wednesday, at starting at noon. And in my opinion, the SmackDown brand was the brand that really came up on top here, because if you take a look, they have Chris Jericho, who's one of the biggest and best heels in the business. You have Kane, who's a big guy that sort of fits a couple of their angles. You have the Melina, the women's champion, that a lot of people are very excited and really like. You have CM Punk, and CM Punk has the money in the bank. So now you hold an infinite number of different angles that you can kind of go with that. As far as Raw is concerned, you got The Miz, who they're apparently wanting to turn into a big star by going solo. You have The Big Show, who as I said, can continue the thing with Vicky Guerrero. You have Matt Hardy, which is a pretty big pick. And then, of course, Triple H is a bombshell. And then you have Maurice, and, you know, that's about it. And MVP. I don't want to forget about MVP. And, of course, ECW just got Vladimir Kozlov. But SmackDown definitely won out because they got the superstars that have the biggest capability to make that brand something special and something worth watching. Now, Chris Jericho can easily go in there and establish himself as a heel that still disrespects legends. Now that he's on SmackDown, he can go after The Undertaker, which is huge. Undertaker set to make his return, facing Matt Hardy on Superstars this coming Thursday night, the debut of Superstars. But since The Undertaker is on SmackDown, we may see a Jericho and Undertaker feud. Now on Raw, what's going to be interesting is that Triple H is going to be right in the thick of things each and every week, which he's already been because the McMahons hold the power and he's part of the family. But now it's official. However, this also brings up kind of an odd issue. Both Triple H and John Cena, the 2 major world champions, are on the same brand. This should really put something into your mind that either A, something is going to happen in the supplemental draft, which is very unlikely considering you would not put a big name or toss a big name aside in a supplemental draft. You would want to see them come out, do their entrance, flaunt their stuff. So I don't think that's going to happen. However, I do think that this may spell that Edge could pull off the victory against John Cena to bring the belt back to SmackDown. It's just a little bold prediction. I'm not sure exactly what direction they're trying to take this, but I think it's a little bit ridiculous that both world champions are now on the same brand. Now, a lot of people may be wondering, since they're doing this, are they going to be looking to unify the 2 belts into one? I don't know. Personally, it's kind of an interesting idea. It's an interesting concept. If they were to do that, I can't say that I would blame them. However, I think that it's a bad call because I think every brand needs to have something for their superstars to attain for, and a world title is just that. So yeah, that's my analysis of the first part of the draft. I will, of course, have another video coming up tomorrow with the results of the supplemental draft, and hopefully with more information. There will be a podcast that's going on tonight with myself and RB, the Delinquents Podcast number 3. Be sure to check that out on iTunes coming soon. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the draft. There was a lot of moments where I was just kind of, I don't know. But, hey, we're going to see how it goes from here. Change is definitely here. McMahon and the gang have definitely spiced things up a bit. Take care, guys.